it's time for the second test, and England must win at Brisbane to keep the series alive. Well, that's not strictly true, is it? I mean, worst case scenario, Australia go 2-0 up and England win the next 3 test matches and we win 3-2 and the Ashes comes home from Australia to England for the first time in what feels like forever. Whew, it's going to be harder than what it sounds though, isn't it? Right. Second test is the pink ball test at the world famous and quite scarily and intimidatorily named the Gabba. Anyway, pink ball tests, are they any good? Why are they there? What use and what purpose do they actually serve? I quite like them. I think they're quite nice. I quite like a bit of novelty and kind of whimsy when it comes to sport, just to provide a little bit of difference when it comes to what is a pretty kind of stiff and set in its ways organisation. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's a bit odd. I know Joe Root made his comments, didn't he, and said that the Ashes in general doesn't really need them, doesn't need a pink ball test, and I wholeheartedly agree with what he says. And when you think about why pink ball cricket or test cricket was at least introduced, was to encourage those grounds that were struggling to sell tickets and get people in, because they were then starting at, say, the people were coming in at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and they were still managing to watch 2 sessions of cricket because they'd just finished work. And the concept behind it is great. The Brisbane test, this second Ashes test, doesn't need it to be able to be sold out and sell tickets. So that, I think, is where it gets stuck from. Then we come into the fact of how frequently they're played and how often they're played. And you have to kind of, in my opinion, you have to kind of agree with Joe Root in the sense that actually they don't really provide a great deal of context. There's no first-class cricket played with pink balls. There's not a one pink ball test match per test series. So actually they are massive outliers, but I think it's really fun. I think it's really fun. I think the batting becomes a little bit of a lottery, which hopefully England will come out on the right side of this time around when you get into that kind of twilight era period and the ball starts doing a lot. That's when you want to be bowling, and hopefully England can find themselves doing that at that particular time. Why? A big question for me though is why have they never really caught on? There haven't been a lot of them played ever since they were first introduced, and I don't really know why. England have played one in England. It was against the West Indies at Birmingham. And I just remember the crowd across the microphones just singing "Don't Take Me Home" for pretty much the entirety of it. I can understand why it doesn't work in England, because it gets cold. Even in the middle of the summer, it is freezing cold after about 8 o'clock at night. So it doesn't really work. It doesn't have the same impact. And probably for the ECB, they don't need it to be able to sell the tickets like some other places around the world do. Anyway, they're Australia's thing, aren't they? They've played 14 of them in their history. They've lost once to the West Indies at the Gabba last January. So other than that, they're pretty good. They're pretty good at pink ball cricket. England have played 7. They've only won 2. One of which was that game against the West Indies at Edgbaston way back. And the other one, which we'll talk about in just a moment. And they've played Australia 3 times in 3 pink ball test matches, and they've lost all 3 of them. Now, the big reason as to why they would have lost all 3 of them, and there'll be lots of reasons, but one of the big reasons is the fact that Mitchell Starc exists. Now, those of us that didn't enjoy reading the headlines about how good Mitchell Starc was at Optus Stadium a couple of weeks ago, I feel we're going to be struggling through a couple of the headlines this weekend as well, reading about how good Mitchell Starc has been with the pink ball at the Gabba. He has 81 test wickets in day-night test matches in the 14 test matches that Australia have played. He's played all of them. He has a best bowling figures of 6 for 9. Now that came against the West Indies in, I think it was Jamaica earlier this summer. They played a pink ball test over there. And those 81 wickets in day-night test matches for Mitchell Starc, well, they come at 17s, which is a lot less than what he gets with the red ball. And that's quite scary. England, though, England players, well, I'm pretty sure it's only going to be Root and Stokes that have ever played a pink ball test match against Australia in this playing 11 that's been named for this second test match. England did beat New Zealand back in 2023 at Mount Maunganui in a pink ball test match. So it's not like the Ben Ducketts, the Zach Crawleys, the Ollie Popes, the Harry Brooks. Those players, it's not like they haven't played a pink ball test match. So that's encouraging. but it's completely out of context, completely kind of out of the blue. What does it look like from a UK cricket fan's perspective though? Well, anyway, the game will start at 4 o'clock in the morning in the UK. That first session will run between 4 and 6 a.m. Then it will be 20 past 6 in the morning because we get the shorter break for the first one through to 20 past 8. Then we'll get that dinner break, which is the 40 minutes. So the final session in the UK will start at 9 a.m. and run through till 11 a.m. unless, of course, which sounds shocking, doesn't it? The over rates have been bad and we have to go past that 11 a.m. finish in order to get a few more overs in. Who'd have thought that would possibly be the case? Not me, not at all. These cricketers, they get round, they get on with it, don't they? Anyway, live streams. I just want to let you know that I will be live streaming through the course of this second Ashes Test match. I will be there at 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, tomorrow, for the first ball for this second Test match, and I will stream the entirety of the day. And my plan will be to do that throughout the course of the entire, certainly this Test match and then the series if they prove positive. So if you're up and around, it would be great to see you there to have a chat, talk about cricket, watch through this Test match, hopefully celebrate when England are doing well, or suffer through together when England are doing quite badly. And also as well, any super chats that get put through, they'll be put into a raffle draw in order to win a giveaway at the end of the Test match. Now, what have England done? They've named their 11, they've named it early. We know exactly what they do. That's the way they play. Mark Wood is out, and we knew that. We got told that after that Perth Test match that he wasn't going to pull up well for the second Test, so he is not available, and he has been replaced by the Surrey all-rounder, Will Jacks. He comes into the 11. Now, there are a few questions here. One, he's going to bat number 8, so that batting lineup extends really nicely, so that's a tick in the right box. Why have they not picked Shoaib Bashir though? That is the biggest question. At the start of the series, Brendan McCullum was come out and saying about the fact that Shoaib Bashir is our guy, he's our spinner. And at the first possible opportunity to pick a spinner, they've not picked him. Now, looking at the numbers through the course of this series so far, in those warm-up games, Will Jacks has bowled as well as Shoaib Bashir. So it's not exactly like Shoaib Bashir is in huge wicket-taking form, which is a massive shame for him, but we had such a PR spin about being the high release point, and that was why Shoaib Bashir kept getting picked, and he's not been picked. I'm sure this is a little bit of backing two horses. They want a spinner, they want that flexibility, they want them to be able to rotate Stokes, Archer, Atkinson and Carse, but they also want an extra bit of batting. They will continue to play the way that they play, and having Will Jacks at number 8 will only then allow them to keep going just a little bit longer. And I think that's probably a big reason as to why they've picked Jacks over Bashir. Top 7 stays exactly the same despite Zach Crawley picking up a pair at Perth. Anybody who's got anything between their ear holes will have known the fact that that was going to stay exactly the same. Ollie Pope was never going to go and open. Jacob Bethel was never going to come in and open. There was never going to be some funky Jamie Smith at the top of the order. Zach Crawley is the guy that they've invested in, and I will start to humour a conversation with Zach Crawley's unpickability if he has gone on to score another pair at Brisbane. Then I think there's something to have a conversation about, but there isn't another opener in the squad, so that kind of points us and leads us to believe that Zach Crawley will be there throughout the course of the series. And I hope that he comes good. Let's not forget, England weren't a million miles away from a positive result at Perth. Yes, Zach Crawley didn't do particularly well, but they weren't a million miles away. Australia, what have they done? Well, they've confirmed that Usman Khawaja is out of the second Test match. Those back spasms that he picked up in Perth, whether it was because he played golf or not, who knows, have continued, so he's not available. He was in the squad, he's been ruled out. He was also incredibly critical about the pitch at Perth, which Cricket Australia weren't very happy with, and they wanted to speak to him personally about that. The ICC obviously rated that pitch as very good, and I think it was just a good pitch. It was a good pitch, and it offered the bowlers just enough to be able to do something with the ball, and that's kind of what you're after. Just the fact that both sets of batters couldn't do it, and Travis Head had a field day, didn't he? So what does that mean? For me, unless I'm recording this whilst Australia have announced their 11, and I suspect the way things will work is that as soon as I finish recording, they will have announced it. But that for me means that Travis Head stays at the top of the order. Bo Webster comes in at the middle. There is talk about Josh Inglis. He has been in good form as well for the PM 11 and the Cricket Australia 11 and whatever else he's been up to. So he's in conversation to go in the middle order. I would go Bo Webster. but I've seen more and more of Josh Inglis being spoken about over the last couple of days. And the other thing as well is that they haven't announced their squad yet because they're not sure whether Pat Cummins is actually going to be fit to play. Now, he has been bowling and he's been steaming in the nets by all accounts. I would err on the side of caution if I was on Australian. I don't think I would risk Pat Cummins if he wasn't 100% right. They're 1-0 up in the Ashes. They will probably be favourites to go 2-0 up over here at Brisbane with the record that they've got with pink balls at Brisbane with Mitch Starc. If he's not 100%, sit it out. And then if things don't go to plan here at Brisbane for Australia, bring him back in for 3 test matches when he is 100% and ready to go. So that's the way I would go about it. The weather, there was a lot of talk about thunderstorms and hurricanes and rainy seasons over at Brisbane, but looking at it, Thursday, Friday, Saturday look absolutely fine. Very little chance of rain. Sunday, Monday, if of course it gets that far, that probability of showers increases by the looks of it. But hey, we've got to go past day 2 yet to start worrying about days 4 and 5. And in terms of my prediction for this final test match, well, I said it before the start of the series and I'm going to stick with it. I think this is Australia's test to win. Everything in their favour, the record, the ground, the Mitchell Starc, the fact that they play pink ball cricket, they would have played one earlier this summer as well. Everything points towards Australia going 2-0 up in this series. Yes, the West Indies beat Australia in the pink ball test match at the Gabba in January 2025 or 24, I think it was. But I don't know whether this England team have got that in them. Anyway, there's my preview. See you for a live stream at 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow.